to Another Way Around, the AwayCast, episode number 18. I'm here with Gregg Delarocca.
Hello.
What's up, dude? Josh.
Yeah, what up, yo?
No, right. Josh is here. Whoa, he's excited today.
He's very excited.
Greg,
I'm
excited today?
I'm
always excited.
We went to the Twins game. We saw the Twins win. I'm excited.
Oh,
good.
God, baseball.
We're going to just pass on that.
Did you buy MLB Reserve 2014 yet?
No.
Okay. Well,
does my voice sound deeper and sexier than normal?
Well, why, Greg?
I don't know.
Do you have strep throat?
I am sick, but
that
I think I kind of
really
like it.
sexy.
I might keep myself sick.
Yeah, you do that thing when you get sick. You kind of like stretch out your voice a little. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
What's up?
But I think it sounds good for the broadcast voice.
Burt Reynolds.
A good broadcasting sound.
Yeah.
Sick voice.
All right.
So a lot to talk about this week. We had a lot of games happen, a lot of things happening. Also, at the top of the hour here, let's talk about, we're running a contest. I called it Summer of Arcade, because I'm helping. We're helping.
Mm-hmm.
We're helping you make money. We're helping you get those Microsoft points before they switch back to current regular currency. But that doesn't matter because they're going to honor the local currency with the Microsoft points anyway. But every week we're going to be giving away between 400 and 1,600 Microsoft points and a year of Xbox Live.
A whole year of Xbox Live.
An entire year.
You have to be
what? Shut your mouth and tell me more.
You'd have to be completely retarded not to enter this contest.
And here's how. All you have to do is follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube. And we give you free things. It's all free. So it comes out of our fund for the AwayCast, so I think you should jump all over it. And we're going to give you free stuff because we want you to play games. Because Summer Arcade is pretty dope this month, I'm not going to lie. Sorry, we're only doing Xbox at first. But we do giveaways once in a while, so eventually, when the new stuff drops, we'll do some more giveaways.
Do some other stuff.
Other things for various other types of folks.
Yeah.
Right. So let's do the preamble. Greg, how's the weekend?
It was just fine. I worked. I went drinking. We're getting through this quick today because
I like it.
Josh has to go out to dinner with a marching band guy who served in the military or some shit. I don't know. But
shot 2 testicles.
He was shot. Whatever. He's got to go to some military.
What does he play?
He plays. Well, he doesn't even play. He like draws up their arrangements and stuff like that.
Okay,
so
first,
sure that they all march
let's get this straight for the people that are listening. Josh was like, my buddy was on. He was on tour. He came back from the military. You said something militaristic, and you were like, he's coming back. He's been on leave for like 8 months. He's coming back. We're gonna talk. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So, your buddy, we were like, how long is it going to take? And Greg goes, oh, it's his buddy from, from the military. He's coming back. They probably have a lot to talk about. And Josh is like, well.
He's in the marching band.
He's in the marching band.
And I didn't say anything military. I said he got back from his tour of marching, which sounds very military.
It does.
Right, marching.
But where was the tour, actually? This is going to actually make it for me.
United States. I mean,
But wait, but like high schools?
Yeah, I mean, they do like, they go from town to town doing like high school shows. Like they have their championships in the giant Indianapolis.
I pictured him marching through the deserts of Afghanistan, cheering on our soldiers like armed to the teeth.
Drum and fight, like Civil War.
It's not the same as it used to. They don't send in a marching band with the units anymore.
They should.
So my point was, he started as this war hero. He's worked his way down to a guy who in the marching band, and now he's the guy who draws up the plans for
marching.
Yeah, he doesn't even do the marching anymore. No, I know. I really should have left it more epic. I should have just left him like no, he has been fighting. He does hand-to-hand combat.
As he's playing the drums.
He goes in with a knife.
Oh,
man. I let that go. Damn it. Fuck.
It's okay.
Right.
Next time, invent a new friend on the next AwayCast, and that's it. We could try again. We could pretend to have other and more interesting friends. Okay. So yeah, we're still running that contest. We're going to run it to the end of August. August 31st, I think, is the last day of August. Duh. Right?
Yeah.
Idiot. Greg, come on, lean into the mic. Show some respect.
I like the dynamics of me, like, I'm in the studio.
Oh, hey,
I'm in the microphone.
Greg.
I'm in the studio.
All right.
I'm in the microphone.
So we're giving away free stuff. Eat it. Take it. Play Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, because that game is good.
Are you telling people what to buy with their prize?
I'm just giving them various points. They're going to take the points and they're going to spend them on something that they would like. Hopefully not an avatar item, like a t-shirt that says YOLO, hashtag YOLO.
That being said, you could probably buy multiple YOLO items. You could probably get the
There's
whole
a whole YOLO
outfit.
market. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how they have like lifestyles? There's like YOLO lifestyle. And it's all I don't even know what the Moving on.
All right.
So yeah, tell your friends, follow, do all that shit. It's pretty much a bribe to get you guys to listen, but it's not like you're listening to some crap. We're actually
it's actually
we're actually pretty good.
It's actually really good to listen to this.
No, you get a twofer. Like you get to listen to an awesome show, and then you get points on top of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the two titles, Brothers is amazing. We'll talk about that in a minute. And Turtles is coming out later this month, which is going to be dope. So I'm excited about that.
I mean,
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And all this talk. I mean, you played Brothers recently, right?
Oh yes, I did indeed. Josh, you also played Brothers.
I did. It is a fantastic game.
I just have to say that I completely agree with Josh in the fact that this game is fantastic with an F. So starting out, I didn't know much about this. Josh brought it up in an earlier podcast that I'm excited for this game coming. What's the studio?
It's from Starbreeze.
Starbreeze, right? Duh. Everybody loves Starbreeze. Well, now that they're branching off to do something a little bit different.
Especially like looking back, and for people who are listening that don't know, Starbreeze history is like games like Syndicate and Payday, and so like very much not what Brothers is.
Right. Well, is the new Payday Starbreeze also?
I think it is. I think they do have something. There's that studio, like when Syndicate, because Syndicate bombed. It did so poorly.
I loved that game. I loved Syndicate.
There's a hardcore contingent who loved Syndicate, but no one else bought it, and they lost so much money. They basically wiped the studio clean, except for like the small team. They have some stake in Payday too, because it's on their website. But the majority of this team is focused on Brothers, and you can tell that this is a completely different effort. Well, it's much smaller, much more concise.
It's a complete departure. Payday 2 drops Tuesday, right?
Yes.
I think that comes out this week, which I'm debating whether or not I'm going to pick up, but either way, I would like a unit of folks who would like to rob banks with me. Anyway, so Starbreeze came out this game called Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, and it got a lot of flack for its silly title. It's a little unnecessary. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons.
No, I think what they're trying to say is like a tale of two like stars, like large, like
like giants.
A tale of two sons.
Yeah. Like,
but it's spelled S-O-N.
Right, but they want you to the visual. They want these two suns rising together to complete tasks simultaneously.
No, that makes sense because the game takes place on Tatooine, so the twin sons make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all.
It does not take place on Tatooine.
No. Yeah, be careful what you say, Josh. Okay? People aren't going to buy the game. They're afraid of Star Wars.
Spoiler, at the end you realize it's a Star Wars game.
And
turns out it's LucasArts is back with this game, Brothers.
Disney spun it.
All these listeners who are going to listen for the promotion, they're going to be like, these guys don't know what they're talking about. This isn't a Star Wars game by LucasArts.
Well, when you get to the end, you realize that you find out it is. It's a twist. It's a twist. A tale of two sons.
Shitty twist.
Tatooine.
Oh, because there's two sons.
All right, talk about the game
Okay,
for real.
I still didn't even pick up on it because there's two sons on Tatooine.
Fuck yeah.
I didn't get that until there.
All right.
Okay, so Brothers was a fantastic game. It's short. It's about 3.5 hours I probably put into it. But it reminds me of how Journey made you feel when you play through the game. There is no combat in the game. The shtick here, the dynamic is that you're controlling two brothers simultaneously, one with the left stick and one with the right stick. There are 6 buttons in the whole game, 2 to control each character. So left stick and left trigger, the stick controls the movement of one brother and the trigger controls the interaction with one brother. The other stick is the opposite in the same fashion, the other brother, etc. And the bumper buttons are to rotate the cameras. And let me just say, when you take when you take combat out of a game, you wonder what is going to be the appeal. What's the draw? Where is the pull here? What are they selling me? And that becomes so apparent as you play through this game that they are selling you just such a wonderful story that I felt it's that story that you feel as though it starts off small and turns into an epic, like Fievel Goes fucking west. Fievel Goes west. It's like you start off in a small town with small problems, a big problem personally, small town,
right?
And you end up having the most creative creatively executed adventure that I've had in a long time. I think it's on par with Journey. It's not as
art focused.
Yeah, I would say. Well, the art is beautiful in that game though too. There are times where you're gaping and you're like, wow.
Do you need to play to watch Five Goes West before you play Brothers?
Everyone should watch Five Goes West first of all,
Right.
and
Just to get the lore. Just to get the lore.
right. It has nothing to do with Five Goes West. You should still watch it.
Fievel. I don't even, I've seen it so many. The name is just so bizarre.
Feive. Fievel.
Well, I mean, he's a mouse. You know, they're weird with their names.
That's a bizarre name. I had never thought about it until you just said it.
I wonder what the derivative. Where's that from?
You know what? We don't have that much time today because Josh has to go to the marching band. So
yeah, we get always.
That's
Josh, my war friend. I have my war friend over.
Josh has to go play the tuba. So what did you think? You can elaborate a little bit more on Brothers.
Yeah. I think that the story is really strong. I felt that, I think that you nailed it perfectly when you say that it's just not as artistic as Journey is. Like, there's beautiful art in there, and I think the art serves a very different purpose than Journey's did.
I think to just interrupt you quick, it's not as open to interpretation as Journey was.
Probably true.
There is a lot of suggestive, like, leave it to your imagination type of thing where you can kind of interpret in your own way, like the communication. And also Journey was multiplayer. I don't want to make this too much of a comparison to Journey, but continue.
And this is it's a Swedish film director who designed the game, who is the whatever we're calling creative director of this game, and so it's very cinematic, but it does an amazing job of telling a story without using typical video game conventions. There's no dialogue. There's no dialogue tree, dialogue options. It's so pared down from what we come to expect from video games. There is no, aside from the quote unquote gimmick of having this twin stick operation, which is almost like a puzzle in and of itself because it's causing your brain to think in a different way than it normally does. Like, I mean, I literally had to just numerous times just stop and say, older brother, younger brother, older brother, younger brother, and just keep them straight as you're running away from things or you're, exploring different areas. And it does a great job. It's it does the same trick of the, rub your belly while you tap your head. It makes you do a lot of that type of brain teaserish things. And it has that can become a gimmick, but they do an amazing job of not falling into that trap. They do just the amount of right difficulty, the right type of engagement. I never felt like I got frustrated with it. I never felt like it was overbearing. I was like, this is the perfect amount. And I felt that 3.5 hours was maybe a little on the short side. I don't think that, for instance, I think Journey is the perfect amount of time to play that game. But I felt like I could have just used maybe another 30 minutes with the game just to kind of continue on with the story, continue on the journey. I don't feel like the climax was big enough. But those are all minor details. And what is actually it feels so refreshing and so wonderful. And as we go into the holiday season, we're going to be playing games like Saints Row 4 and XCOM: The Bureau and Splinter Cell.
Very much video games.
Exactly, and they use a lot of those conventions. They do them very well, but they're still conventions. It's all about leveling up. How many guns do you have? What's your apartment look like? How who are you romancing? And this strips all of that away and just focuses on these puzzles and the story. And the story is so wonderfully done. It just reminds you that video games don't have to always be big and epic and deal with XP and 40-hour playthrough times. That sometimes it can just be the simple story of these two brothers trying to save their father.
See, it is super stripped down. I mean, no inventory, nothing to worry about except exactly what you're doing. There's no collectibles. There's nothing to detract you from the fact that you have one goal, which you're not even quite sure of. You know what you have to do, but you don't know what exactly you're doing. So there leaves a bit of mystery in it, which I love, personally.
Yeah, and I think that the fact they stripped away the dialogue, there are a few things in the game that are kind of off-putting at first, like the fact they all speak in kind of a Simlish language. Yeah. They're just speaking gibberish to each other. But at the same time, after playing a couple hours, A, you don't even notice it, and B, you don't need it. You're almost glad that it's gone because, you think about games like JRPGs and stuff like that, where you just you're like, oh my God, this is another 10-minute explanation of something. I just don't care. I know what I have to do. Let's just do it. And that's like the things that Brothers does very much plays to that, where it goes, we're not going to bog you down with a ton of like, tropes and things you've done before. We just want to get you through this experience and we want you to enjoy it.
Isn't the game short?
Yeah, 3 to 3.5 hours.
But they pack a lot of traversal in there. Like your environments are changing a lot, and what I said, Josh elaborated quite a bit on what I was saying earlier, is that it's a small tale. I mean, it's a tale of two brothers or whatever. I'm bringing back title card.
It's actually a tale of two sons.
A tale of two sons. Brothers, a tale of two sons.
Yeah,
Tatooine, that whole thing.
A tale of two brothers.
A tale of two brothers, sons.
Tatooine goes west.
Tatooine goes west.
The Sun Bros.
The Sun Bros.
Yeah.
Bro Sons.
I don't know.
All right.
The Capri Suns.
Capri Suns.
We built a whole nother game on this like Capri Sun, Five goes Tatooine.
You're on rollerblades and you're doing a half pipe.
I want to play that game.
Yeah, I think
it's very different from Brothers.
Yeah.
But definitely play Brothers. I think it was 1,200 points. Well worth it. It's definitely something everyone should treat themselves to, and it's not difficult. And I never felt like it was too easy or obviously too difficult. I felt as though, just as Journey is, that you're experiencing something. It's not necessarily a video game per se, or not necessarily like a point and click adventure game. It's like this weird, I don't know. It's almost like watching a movie, an interactive movie. I don't know. I sound like
it's kind of like an interactive narrative journey. Yeah.
Those video games with those moving pictures, kid. You got moxie. You're gonna make it. It was great though. Play it. 5 wet kisses and 6 smiley faces.
And I also would say that like it adds, there's a history behind Summer of Arcade that includes titles like Braid and Bastion and Splosion Man and Castle Crashers, and like it feeds to that like great list. The one last year was Dust and Elysian Tale. Mm-hmm. It adds to that really robust list of games where like every year of Summer of Arcade, it seems like there's at least one game that people really, really love. And this, once again, adds to that great roster.
Yo, and if you can't afford it, we're giving you some aid.
I think we have a contest
with Summer of Arc.
Oh, Summer of Arc aid contest. Yeah, by the AwayCast.
There is the Noah's Ark. There's a Noah's Ark joke in there somewhere, but I'm glad you didn't make it.
Well, you can play the tuba on the Ark. We'll have
damn right.
So play Brothers. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah. The exact opposite of Brothers is Dragon's Crown, which is very much like everything that Brothers strips all that stuff away, and Dragon's Crown blows all that stuff away.
Exactly. Loot. Giant breasts.
Yeah, it's been an amazing like dynamic playing those two games like with each other. It was that, and like I got Dragon's Crown first and probably put a solid like 5-7 hours into it before I played Brothers, and it was like the perfect like break. Mm-hmm. And I just like playing that 3 hours, and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm ready to jump back into, kill as many guys as you can, grab as much loot as you can, upgrade your inventory, and then move on.
So Josh, before we get into Dragon's Crown, because that's gonna be a little chunk there, in Brothers, there's a part where you're going into this whole new area, and there's a moment of realization. There's no cues for it, like this story doesn't tell you, but all of a sudden you're in this environment, and then you realize you are in this kind of environment, and you're like, whoa. Do you know exactly what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about.
I know
like kind of like at the end.
No, it's towards like the last third maybe. It's when you start doing the swinging.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're in that area. I had no idea where I was until I got to a specific room, and I was like, oh, it's one of these.
Yes,
you guys are like tiptoeing around the spoiler right now.
Yeah, well, we're not touching the spoiler.
Why even do that? Why even fucking
Because I wanted to talk
that?
To Josh about it.
Yeah, but do our listeners want to hear you guys' conversation about the tip tapping spoiler?
No, you don't want to hear it. I have to sit here every week while you talk about Kentucky Route Zero, and you go, oh, Josh, I don't want to say it in front of John, but you get to that room where...
If anything, I'm correcting my past follies.
Yes.
I'm learning from our mistakes.
Gregg has grown since last week.
Massively.
He has...
I just want everyone to know that I have a terrible time with spoilers. Like, I will just spoil things. Like, I'll just be like, oh, didn't you know so-and-so's dead? And then everyone goes, what? And it is amazing.
I don't think you've yet to spoil anything how well I don't spoil things
on the show.
My father, sorry, Dad, you're the worst at this. I watched The Walking Dead for a little bit, and he texted me the next morning, well, I guess so-and-so's gone. And I go...
And you missed that episode.
That was like the first time I missed an episode because we record on Sundays. I missed that episode. And he just said, well, so-and-so's gone. And I'm like,
I mean, pretty much if you have Facebook, you're fucked no matter what.
Yeah, someone's always screwing something up. Stay away while you're watching a show. Breaking Bad comes back tonight. Greg's shooing me out of his house to watch Breaking Bad. I got to catch up on that show.
So good.
I'm far away. And now, I don't know, too many shows.
Yeah, there was a lot of shows.
I never finished watching House of Cards. I got like 3 episodes left.
Jeez,
I'm like toying with starting that. It's
so
show.
good.
That show
next
is
on my list.
Good.
And Arrested Development, I still missed like 2 or 3 episodes.
I watched all those too.
Yeah.
I binged them.
That's great.
The thing is, I binged these shows. Like just 2 weeks ago, I watched Orange is the New Black in one day. The whole
I heard
season.
that was good too.
Everyone keeps telling me Orange is the New Black is amazing.
It's good. It's good. I watched the whole thing in a day. I enjoyed it.
What's it? Just real quick, what's it about? I haven't.
It's at first I thought it was going to be like this like quirky comedy kind of thing, but it's kind of not. It's this girl who goes to prison for being a drug mule, and it's a woman's prison. That's the whole thing. When she gets there, it's like really much more cushy than she expected, and it's kind of like the drama that happens within the inmates and a lot of like lesbian love and a lot of boobs.
Prison stuff.
Yeah, prison stuff. You know, but then there's like a lot of drama. Like the characters, really, it's just about like, it's like really like the definitive characters within the prison that and then they tell their story. Like they go back and tell that why they are in prison.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it really gets dark though. It gets very dark. The show. It stops being funny and it gets kind of twisted.
Sounds like 6 Feet Under. Like it has that air about it. Occasionally.
Yeah. That's a good comparison. It's like super dark. But the thing is, it started out like, oh, it's gonna be funny. She goes to prison and everyone's
then boom,
kooky.
shank.
Then out of nowhere, there's like some crazy chick like pissing on her floor, staring at her, telling her she's gonna kill her. Literally, like within the first 3 episodes. Yeah.
What channel is this on?
Spoiler alert.
Netflix.
It's Netflix. Yeah.
All right,
I love that we
it.
have this like limited video game podcast, and we get to rail on.
What
But
episodes?
that being said, have you guys seen Sherlock?
Oh, I love Sherlock.
I haven't watched that either.
So good.
New Sherlock's coming soon.
And everyone's
Yeah,
talking
it
about
is.
the new Doctor Who. I don't even understand how that works.
I don't watch any of the Who.
Me neither.
I don't watch any of the Who. But Sherlock is beautiful. It's like watching an amazing movie. It's
The BBC version, right?
And it is so good. The acting is so
what episode is the pissing on the floor one? Which one?
It's like the 3rd probably.
All right, I'll just skip it.
This is what you're going to go straight to, John. You just want to see piss on the floor.
We are so derailed right now. We are so derailed.
I know, right?
Dragon's Crown.
That's okay.
Dragon's Crown.
I mean, it sucks. I feel like we're in the speed round right
We
now.
are, and it's not my fault. It's not your fault, John. Do you know whose fault?
All right, we'll give you RSTLNE. I'd like 3 consonants and a vowel.
We got a J, an S. Oh, we already have S. I'll skip.
Pat
H,
Sajak's like, come on, man.
and my vowel will be O.
Oh, okay. What do we have?
Oh, Josh. I didn't even have to. It's Josh. No.
Dragon's Crown. Dragon's
I thought
Crown.
we were guessing
you got
who-
it with the O.
I was saying who ruined
What did
the
you win?
I was saying who ruined the podcast.
Well, that's the same every week, isn't it?
No.
I derail.
We
Just
all
sit here
derail.
and just like play with you guys while you try to drive this car.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Dragon's Crown because I need to do my my prediction.
Well, let's just give people a heads up in about a few minutes here. If any of you guys have seen A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe or Memento or Pi, not The Life of Pi, but Pi, Gregg has been scribbling on his walls in his own blood.
Are you currently singing? This is your best impression of the Beautiful Mind score.
Yeah.
He's been
But
scribbling.
you can tell I'm doing that though because of the little doo-doo-doo-doo-doos.
You guys cut me off when I said in his own blood. I said his own blood, and you guys cut me off, and I couldn't help finish for Gregg. It sounds worse.
James Horner's so pissed somewhere
James
right
Horner.
now.
He has been digging deep into Kentucky Road Zero, and he has notebooks with notes.
We should do this first. We should
All
do
right,
this first and then talk about Dragon's Crown. Save it.
Let me explain what happened here to me.
And then I want to have something to say, and then you can go into your theories.
Let me get this water. Hold on, let me get this water real quick.
All right. So Josh, seriously, yesterday I was doing a photo shoot for a kid, and he calls me, and he's like, "Dude, I think that Conway," and he starts going off. He's like, "I can't believe this. I'm figuring out all these theories."
The first thing I said to you was, John, you need to tell me something.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You started playing it recently, and I haven't played the first chapter in a long time. I don't remember. The dog. does your dog wear a straw hat?
And I said, my dog didn't wear a straw hat. I named my dog Homer.
You named your dog Homer, and he didn't wear a straw hat. My dog was wearing a straw hat the second time around, and I said,
Was it wearing a straw hat like the moment you get out of the...
Yes, right away. Straw hat.
Crazy.
Now, that's the first thing that said to me, oh, so it's probably a little bit different the second time you play through it. That's kind of interesting. I'm going to stay focused on this now. I'm going to start thinking about it. Because the first time you play through this game, and I think for most people, what you're doing is, one, you're trying to stay focused because it's very short. Like, not short as in length. Everything's kind of short. Like, they're not really telling you a lot unless you're really paying attention, and you don't know what to be paying attention for. So you're kind of just going through this. You're almost barreling through it a little bit.
Well, you're just trying to absorb, right? Like,
right.
when I was playing that, I was just trying to absorb as much as I could.
Exactly.
So I would be like, what the fuck is going on?
So I started playing again yesterday, and I decided I was going to start like really like just like trying to figure out what is happening, what's going on, where am I, what's happening here, and what really kicked it off wasn't the dog. The dog, I just figured something different. Maybe that's like an Easter egg. The dog's wearing a hat, but the first thing, there's spoilers here, everyone. Just so you know, there's spoilers here.
All right, we'll give you a second here. Everyone who would still like to play Act 1
Act 1
of Kentucky Route Zero. Leave now.
Okay, so the first thing you do in the game, or one of the first things you do, is you go down and there's no power. You arrive at this gas station and there's no power at the gas station. There's a man sitting at the pump. His name is Joseph. You talk to Joseph. Joseph tells you got to get the power back on. You go downstairs and you see there's two guys and a female playing. Looks like Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
You go down there, you turn the light on, they disappear, spooky, whatever. Okay.
Well, they're also ignoring you. Like, you're not even there.
Oh yeah. Obviously, it's like a ghost thing, whatever. So you make your way back up to the top of the gas station, and this is where things started to kind of unravel for me, and I started to have
on your second playthrough.
Right, first playthrough, I'm just like, whatever, I don't know what's happening. So he tells me, if you're looking for Dogwood Drive, which is what you're looking for, you're an antique salesman, antique delivery guy, and you're trying to find this location. Joseph says, I have it saved on my computer. So go to the computer and it'll tell you where that location is. So you go to the computer, and the first thing I noticed was when I go to put the password in, and I never paid attention this last time, it's a poem that Joseph wrote, and he said, you'll figure it out. And this was the big thing to me, that I realized that the text options that are in the game, the stuff that you choose, like the options that you choose to say to people or to respond to questions or to ask people questions, are so important that you think about what is the most important thing for you to know, and you also have to think about like how like what that question actually means and what kind of like feedback you're going to get from that question.
So when I played it, because I'm still only on my first playthrough, I think the general consensus will... I mean, you're trying to look for Dogwood Drive. So you're trying to follow the direction of the story.
Right.
So
you're just trying to find the location. You're not even thinking about the characters. Like this little... Like you almost will ignore the side dialogue.
So the three choices on the computer were...
Well, no. What happens with the computer, it's a password thing. So they give you... They do this thing, which they do a couple times in the game, where... You have three options, and they give it to you three times to make almost like a poem, like a sentence. And I believe if you do the text options correctly, and I paid attention to them, thinking about the wreck that happens in the beginning of the game, is that the text options is a poem about that wreck, about someone possibly being intoxicated and dying in a car wreck, or just getting into a car wreck. And if you look at the text options, you can create that poem. So after I did that, Joseph goes, hold on, I have written down here.
Let me check his scrolls here. Hang on.
Hold on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
It's under the TV dinners and the scrolled out pictures
he goes, looks like you're figuring it out, is what he said to me after I did that.
And Greg got excited.
And I got really excited when he said that. Because he might have said that to me the first time, I don't know. But then it made me think that there's something to figure out. Because I never thought that there's something to figure out. Like, I never really thought of it as a mystery for me to try to figure out. I figured they're going to tell me everything. I'm going to go through it, and they're going to tell me what's going on, and that's going to be the whole thing. So then I started taking notes about everything, about every character in the game, trying to figure out who's who, what's what, where's what, who these people are, what I'm doing here. And here are my findings. I've created...
huge spoilers coming up right now for what Greg's theory is, at least.
I've created a list of characters and their world relations, meaning most of the characters that I've experienced or met with are all actually related to one another. They're all part of a family of some sort. I'm going to start with
as Gregg ruffles through pages of tomes.
No, you should probably start with Weaver.
Tomes
We'll start with
of
Weaver.
volumes.
Now, Josh, do you remember Weaver?
Yeah.
So Weaver is like one of the first characters you meet besides Joseph. She's in like this little house that you go to, a farmhouse. Now, when you meet Weaver, there's a dialogue option, because I made sure to also, and I recommend this to anybody listening, choose the dialogue options that you did not choose the first time if you can remember, because there's things that'll happen that obviously you might have experienced what I experienced the second time the first time, but I guess I was paying more attention, so it unlocked more things for me, visually. But there's a little dialogue that happens between Conway and Weaver where they both talk about their mother not liking the ghost in the TV, or not liking the static in the TV and being frightened by the TV. And they both relate to it as it being almost their mother, or Weaver is referring to it as someone motherly, or she was related to them enough to understand. Where there's it's almost like the game stopped and they're standing there looking at the TV as something completely different. So then she refers to Shannon, and Shannon is like one of the main characters that you work with later on in the game, as being her father's brother's daughter. Shannon's name is Shannon Marquez, okay? So my theory right now is that Weaver is Conway's, was it niece? That would be niece, right?
What would you say? Brothers?
Brother's daughter.
Yeah.
Weaver is Conway's niece. Shannon is Conway's daughter.
Shannon is the TV repair woman.
Right. And I believe that is Conway's daughter. Now, the reason why I believe that is because when you meet Shannon in the mine for the first time, Shannon says that Weaver never lies about anything. And to verify this, she tells a story about when Shannon's father died in a car wreck. And she didn't believe it at first, but it was actually true, and Shannon's father's dead. And then Weaver is also kind of, without saying it, directly is also dead somehow, because Weaver appears apparently to Shannon randomly to tell her these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking Weaver could have been in the car wreck, or could have died at a separate time. Weaver also says at one point that me and Shannon used to be the same age, but then she got older than me.
So obviously that doesn't make sense, but only if one were to die, they would stop aging.
Exactly.
Right.
If Weaver was to die before Shannon, and then Shannon got older than Weaver, that's the only way that makes sense.
Only way.
So I'm starting to unlock all these things. I'm like, oh shit, everyone's related. So then Joseph, think about Joseph is he's way older. So Joseph could have lived a long life.
Joseph's the dude at the gas station.
Yes, exactly. He could have lived a long life before he died, and that's why he's older. And he would be,
So it seems like what you're saying is everybody in this universe is dead.
Yes. Actually, the title of my notes up here is "Everyone is Dead." Gregg's Kentucky Route Zero notes.
You can publish that.
Yeah. So I started to come up with this idea that maybe this is some sort of purgatory for Conway, where he's figuring out like the mistakes he's made in his life, or he's trying to like get to the next life, or whatever it is. And maybe Shannon was stuck there also, because they say Weaver appears, and they needed each other.
We should run a spoiler cast, Gregg.
Yeah.
I think it'll be better for you to like really.
Well, let me finish, because
or maybe when the whole thing is done.
Because I just want to get to one more thing, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, because I have so much I could say right now, because I have a huge
I think
list
what
of
Gregg
stuff.
wants to do is he wants to get himself on tape saying all this shit. This way, if at the end it's a big reveal, he can be
well, the thing is,
I'm the smartest man alive.
No, because I think is what I just said, my whole idea there, people could probably, because I'm not paying attention to the community. In fact, I don't want to, because I'm afraid that other people might have already said this, and I like the idea of figuring this out myself.
Right. No, it's fun. You love it. I can tell you're enjoying it.
But...
And if a game could do this to you and you can enjoy it this much, it just proved to people that there's way more to it than what you think.
Now, because we're a bit limited on time right now, and I don't want to get too much into it. A lot of other things happen differently the second time around. I've met different people. The acts went on longer in certain places, and
Now, do you think that that's a result to your choices, or do you think
this is something I can't know. I can't know it unless I uninstall the game and try doing the choices.
Right.
Some things I can ask you, Josh. I can like, all right, because you played it. Maybe you did this. In the mines, when you went to the mines for the first time, and you get on the mine car after you hurt your leg, and you're going through the thing, and you get to the turntable. Do you remember getting to the turntable?
Yeah.
Okay. Which direction did you turn first? Did you go to the right or to the left? What did you see?
We went to the right.
Okay, so you went to the right and you got to the end and there was a radio down there that she helped you power up and you were able to listen to like something on the radio, right? There's like a broken bridge or something like that, right? Well, let me tell you something, Josh. If you then go back and go to your left, what happens? There's a dead end, right? It's just a dead end. There's nothing there. If you go to the left the first time, there's something completely different there. And you don't get to go to the right.
So the question here is does this happen as the result of multiple playthroughs?
Exactly, because I don't know, because Josh had the same experience I did in the first time. He went to the right, like I did. See, when I went to the left, Josh, the second time through, it's this huge stage that was built by the workers of the mines, and it's like this tall, big stage.
That's awesome.
I didn't see that either.
And apparently it was a recording studio for the miners. They used to go down there and they used to have shows down there. The townspeople would go down there and watch these shows of the miners up on this huge
What's great
thing.
about this game is to know that Gregg said the first time he went through it in the first act there was 3, 4, 5 parts. One of those.
Well, it was like 4.
parts.
It was like 5 part, whatever it was.
The second time he went through,
it was like 7. Because, and I'm not sure if it's just a result of me going back to places that I didn't do the first time and them considering them acts. But the thing I'm about to tell you next, it might have been 6 actually, is the only thing throwing my main theory off. So, and that's what, and we'll end on this and we'll talk more. Maybe we'll do a spoiler cast about it where I can get into more of my notes because I have a ton of notes about interesting
maybe we can
stuff.
talk to those guys.
Maybe. Yeah, that would be great. But real quick, I'm gonna tell you about this. After I obtained Shannon. Okay, I didn't do this the first time, but I went back to the gas station with her, and I'd never done that before because I wanted to see her interact with Joseph.
Yeah.
Because while I was at the mines, at the very end of the mines, there's this little room, this archivalist booth. It almost looks like an outhouse, and you go in there, and there's 3 journals. They only let you choose to read 2 of them. The first journal was labeled J. Marquez. I'm assuming that's Joseph Marquez because Joseph refers to himself as an archivist, and Weaver's parents were archivists at the mine, and they didn't die when the mine flooded, like Shannon's parents did, or whatever. Her mother, whatever it was. Anyway, and then the other book was R. Marquez, which I can, eventually I do figure that out who that is, but. So I'm assuming that that's Weaver's father. So when I bring Shannon there, I assume Shannon to know him because it's her uncle, especially if Conway died and was her father. And they do interact and they do talk about R. Marquez and some other stuff. And then Joseph says to me, he goes, "Hey, I heard that you found an abandoned museum. Josh, do you remember finding that abandoned museum? You walk in there and the text.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get to walk in.
It's all text. Yeah. Just like you go to the glass and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yes, you remember that. Well. He says, I heard that you found that abandoned museum. You should go back there. I'm an archivist, and I have some of my stuff back there. You should go check it out and see if you can find. My full name is Joseph Joseph Wheattree is what he says his name is. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll go back there and see if anything's different. So I go back. I get to a room that I was never able to normally get into, and there's filing cabinets. And you start going through the filing cabinets, and you start to find out that Joseph is a game designer. He designs games. And him, along with his partners, Donald and Lula, also were game designers. They all designed games together. And there was a bit of a weird love triangle where I think Donald was with Lula and Joseph was in love with Lula, whatever it was. But you go through and you look at all the names of the games. There's a little Easter egg in there where it lists The Walking Dead as one of the games under the
Telltale game, right?
Yeah. And it's dated 2012. It's kind of funny.
So those are they were in the basement.
So now what I'm realizing is the 3 people in the basement, the 2 guys and the girl, were Joseph, Donald, and Lula. The game.
Oh.
Yes. Which puts a whole nother twist on my theory because what happens now is if you go and you look through the emails that are in the gas station in the computer, the first email is from Donald. And it's Donald telling Joseph to come back, to come out of the world that you went to come back to reality pretty much. Which makes me wonder, is Kentucky Route Zero just like this sort of simulation almost, or some sort of game where Joseph is maybe reliving like his life as Conway? Like that
would also specifically make sense in regards to the way you traverse Act 2.
Right. Right. And
don't spoil that.
Last thing, when you're in that museum, that same museum, there's a book right when you walk in. And the first time I looked through the book, I don't remember seeing anything in particular. But when I went back that time, when he told me to go back and I looked in the book, there was an illustration towards the end of the book of a man missing a leg, working at an antique shop, covered with alcohol bottles. There's alcohol bottles everywhere. Think about that visual. That's Conway. He's an alcoholic who hurts his leg in the game, and he also might have hurt his leg in real life. In the car accident, lost his leg, and he works at the antique shop.
I feel like there are other references. I'm sorry to keep derailing you from this, but I feel like there are other references to alcohol throughout, and specifically him being alcoholic.
I have them written down. He actually lost his job as an electrician as an alcoholic because he was an alcoholic, and he only worked there for a week.
Josh, no stone unturned over here, honestly.
Oh God, it's amazing.
Like
it's so good.
He has two. What are they? Leather bound? Like moleskin notebooks.
One is with like handmade paper from.
I feel like
amazing.
The way he describes this, it's like we're in an episode of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
it's insane.
So have you guys seen Mulholland Drive?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, you guys, you should see it because it's an amazing movie. But people, and I hate to do this to these guys because they are definitely doing their own thing and it's amazing. But the Mulholland Drive is David Lynch's probably like biggest film that he's done. And the ending and basically what happens in that movie is incredibly subjective. They never tell you what exactly it is, and you need to watch it multiple times, and you pick up on very subtle narrative clues or like dialogue clues to kind of, and there, if you go and you just Google Mulholland Drive theories, you'll find dozens upon dozens of people trying to interpret what that movie is about and what it is. And like, it sounds from like what you're telling me, and I really want to go back and play more of it now because that's awesome, is that it sounds like the same things here. And I kind of like hope that your theory that everyone's dead is close, but I hope that's not exactly it, or that it's malleable, you know, that like, there's also like maybe there's different interpretations or other clues, you know, just because that's what like.
That's why I liked when I found out about the game thing. It made me think of it in a whole different light because I mean everyone's dead is kind of a common
it's like
exactly
things, you know, everyone's
it's
dead.
all a dream.
We were all dead the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Joseph's not dead. Maybe the old Joseph, and he's kind of guiding me through this thing. You know, I mean I can't be sure. Again, I've only analyzed the first act. I'm going to go next weekend. I'm going to do the second act the same way. Maybe that'll open more doors.
How many acts do they plan on doing? Do you know?
Five.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're not even
exactly
halfway through yet.
So there's so much to be, and I already have I have new theories about stuff that happens in Act 2, especially because I meet a new character I've never met before, like this like black guy at the gas station when I went back, who talks about a bird per se.
Okay, so that's for me later.
Bird references,
right?
Shit. Oh yeah, Josh, did you name the dog?
Yeah, we named it Blue.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't name the dog this time, and
it changes everything.
It changes everything. The text,
that's awesome.
The dialogue options you get with the dog are probably the most descriptive about Conway's life out of any that you get from anyone else.
So
in the
way Gregg was describing it to me was, I think it's a pretty spot on description of what happens when you name the dog. Like when you name the dog, you're
creating a character that's not real. Like, well, this is at least my theory on it. Like when you go in there and you're like, I'm going to name this dog, you're just making something it's not real. You're
like, don't assume you know the dog.
Right.
Like it's not your right to give the dog a name.
Like you're giving this animal like a name now. So now its entire personality is just based off you creating it. So now whenever you talk to the dog as Blue or as Homer, he's just like, good dog, I want a treat, and the dog's like, or he'll just like listen to you talk to yourself. But when you don't name the dog, you start referring to him as old man, and you also start to have these dialogues or you start to talk to him about like his past owners and like how he used to like.
There's another level of mystery behind the dog.
Well, they talk about like Lisette and Ira and Ira, who was Conway's boss when he was doing roofing, and Lisette, who I believe is Ira's wife, who owns the antique shop. And you start to get to this thing where you start talking to the dog about memories that they had with them, because I believe it was Ira's dog. So why does Conway have Ira's dog? That's something you don't think the first time. You think it's your dog, but you have Ira's dog, which means Ira is dead. Mm-hmm. And yet, and when you go and you see the wreck, when you walk up to the wreck for the first time, or ever, there's no car there. There's just tires and 3 coffins and bottles of booze everywhere. It's more of like imagery than it is of anything actual. It's just like this picture. Like, why is there 3 coffins there? You know, and why is there alcohol everywhere and just tires? And then they start doing this weird shit with tires throughout the game. I start to pick up on, like, when you see the Josh, did you see the guys pushing the airplane? Did you see the guys pushing the airplane?
I watched the whole thing.
Okay, well, if you drive around, you'll see there's a thing like plane, and you click on it, and there's these 2 guys, and it's just
slowly pushing it.
And if you click on the plane again, it says those wheels are completely worn down. That thing's going to be dragging soon or something like that. Yeah. So that's one reference to wheels. There's another reference to wheels when you go into one of the text walkthroughs and you're in this building and you open one of the doors. There's like warmth coming from the door, and you open it, and there's like 12 people sitting around a fire. Did you guys ever do that one?
Yeah, I did that one. And
I didn't see that either.
You keep going and going, and you're pushing down rotted down walls, and then you get to a point where there's warmth coming from the wall, and they built a fire on the ground, and everyone's sitting around like cooking. And
then a woman tells you to come sit over, and then you specifically go, I sat down on the chair, the wheels were all rotted and falling apart. Like, why specifically mention those wheels? You know,
the significance. This game is just like a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And anybody, even if you've never played it and you're still listening and you've listened to that whole thing, play it and give us your...
That's only the first act. There's 4 more acts. Not to mention, this is my interpretation. This is not right.
What's funny is have you ever like been book shopping and you see like psychology and, you know, and Halo, psychology and The Walking... Or is it psychology? It's, you know, like popular beliefs. So it sounds like Gregg can write his own book on Kentucky Route Zero, the first act of it.
I want to do the next. I want to talk about the next act next week, also the second act, if I have a chance to take more notes on it.
Honestly, having listened to you talk to it, like I feel like, and I played that game pretty thoroughly. Like for how I play games, like, you know, I took my time going through. I went to like all the locations I could find, you know, and yada yada yada. I feel like I have done that game a disservice and need to go back and not only play it, but I need to start writing things down so I can make those connections, because it feels like those connections are honestly like, I don't want to say half the game, but it sounds like, you know, it's just going to be that like more delicious ending, you know, when you can really draw those lines.
Until I realized that it's important, or at least I think it's important for you to try to figure things out. I think that's part of the game that people don't understand exists. Like, I feel like that's a part of the game that people just, they're not used to having to do a little bit of work like that, you know? Right. And that work is making this the greatest game experience I've ever had in my life. Like, it's...
Or when you think about it, so many people go like, oh, well, they'll tell me. They're going to explain this.
Well, that's what it is. And they probably will. They probably will at the very end of it. But what's so awesome about not being able to just jump to the end of the game, and I complained about not having the acts earlier, is that if you really care about this, why not try to figure it out yourself? Because they leave so many clues. That's the thing, is they leave clues, and even the characters throughout the game are telling you. Weaver says it, Joseph says it. You need to focus. Look at what we're saying to you. You're figuring it out. You're figuring it out. Figure this out. You know, you can figure it out. So you don't have to wait till the 5th chapter to 5th act to know what's going on. If you just like put the clues together, you put the pieces together, and you start to just like really think about what's happening here. You know.
I hope they don't. I hope that they like, obviously, you know, playing those first 2 acts, even without doing the work and knowing what's going on, is satisfying in its own way. Like, the writing's fantastic. The art's amazing. Like, it's very well done to begin with. But I hope that but I hope they continue to do that throughout all 5 acts. Like, hey, if you do the homework, if you do the work, you're going to have such an amazing ending here. If you don't, you know, it'll seem arbitrary and slightly ending, surreal. But
regardless, for me, I feel like what's going to happen here is the ending is not going to matter as much as this experience I'm having going through it now. Because now my experience is going to be completely different.
You're invested like a mother.
Oh yeah, I'm like a detective. I'm Sherlock. I'm Monk right now. Okay, I'm going through this and I'm looking for the littlest subtleties, because I figured out that it's real. Like there are tiny little clues that you would never pick up on, and as soon as you realize that's there. That exists, that there's things that are different, that the dialogue options are so important that you pick the most social options that relate to the characters and not to just like, you know,
the task at hand.
Exactly. Because you need to find out who these people are in order to understand why you're there. Like, if you're not doing that, and if you're just doing the one that's like, that looks good, I'll talk to you later, you ruin everything.
The game is not about the objective, it's about the depth.
But that's even what Conway's doing, though. That's even Conway is well,
he's trying to get to whatever Dogwood Drive.
But no, not even that anymore. You're at a point where he doesn't know no one knows what's going on, and it's so weird because Conway feels And at least in the second act, he almost feels comfortable, but he doesn't understand.
Just being led around.
That's
a
the
little
thing.
bit.
It's like this is bizarre what's happening, but it's right. And and because of that, like it makes you question less when you should be questioning everything and trying to figure out what's happening. So
whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking hippie. You're a hippie, bro.
I don't know, dude. I can't wait to talk about.
Say it again. Say your phrase again today. Oh, one last thing. So
I'm done. No, I'm done. I'm done talking about it. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited. I was just so excited to talk about this today.
No, dude, you did your research. It sounds like you're having a really good time with it too.
I hope like I said, I didn't look into the community because I'm afraid to, because there could be other people doing this. But actually, I'm almost curious if no one is, and maybe people don't realize that this is a whole nother part of the game. This is 50% of the game here. What I'm doing. So.
Right.
I'm gonna have to give it a second playthrough and do that due diligence because that sounds amazing. And I want to because I want to now go up and follow up your work and then compare notes afterwards so that we can sit there and be like, well, what happened here? What was this? How did you see this?
And if you can remember the stuff that you did the first time, just make sure you do the opposite the second time. Yeah. Just to see what happens.
Maybe we'll run a spoiler cast. We'll all play it again and we'll take notes and we'll compare.
Sure. Yeah.
That'll be fun for us. I don't know how entertaining that would be. Probably only KRZ fans.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Yeah, guys, play that game seriously. Even if you just listen to all of Gregg's spoilers, it's still such a crazy experience, as you can see.
So good.
And maybe when I finish this first act notes, I'll post them online so you guys can look at them.
Gregg is falling down, deep down, down the Kentucky route.
So yeah, I guess we should probably jump real quick to Dragon's Crown because John has to go to the marching band dinner.
John,
I have to go to the marching band.
Josh has to go to the marching band.
Well, I also have a marching band dinner
too. Right.
I play the
now
oboe.
you're gonna try and be as cool as me.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dragon's Crown. I played games that I really loved this week. I think Dragon's Crown suits that bill. A buddy of mine, he didn't even really know much about Dragon's Crown, was saying, I'm in the mood for a game where you level up, you put points and stuff, you get loot, blah, blah. And I'm like, play Dragon's Crown. I beat it, actually. I beat it on normal mode. I played through as a sorceress. So it comes off as like a beat 'em up. If you look at it for face value, you're like, oh, it's just like, what is this, Final Fight Double Dragon style stuff? But really, it's more like Diablo, this game. So you pick your classes in the beginning, sorceress, fighter. Josh, what did you play?
I'm playing as an elf.
Oh, I started a second character. She's pretty cool. So ranged character, blah, blah, blah. They also have fighter, wizard, your typical Amazon, classes like that for typical beat 'em up dungeon crawler type games. So this is a side scroll. I think I've established that already. So you start off and you're completing tasks. You're going on quests. Man, I'm having a hard time describing this game without trying to make it sound like a beat 'em up, but
well, I mean, it's the fantasy epic, I don't want to say trope, but convention of you have a hub town and
defeat
then from
the
that
dragon.
hub town, you go, you travel, and the way you travel changes throughout the game, but you can travel to these different dungeons and you crawl through the dungeons, and then after you finish that, you get your loot, you assess your loot, re-equip yourself. And I think more than a beat 'em up, it is going to sound similar, but it's a dungeon crawler. You go through these dungeons again and again. You try to find different routes through. You try to, I think that one of the most interesting things with the side quests. And
hang on a second, Josh, Gregg, what are you doing? Gregg went on. He just said he doesn't want to look at the community. He just went on his computer.
No, it's great because people are so far off. They're so.
But how do you know you're not far off?
Because first of all, he thinks that the people playing D&D in the basement are people who died down there from carbon monoxide poisoning.
All right, Gregg, shut that off because you're gonna ruin it. You're gonna ruin it for yourself.
I can't wait to post my my paper.
Gregg's gonna look back later.
I can't wait to publish my theories.
Gregg, you need to troll those people. That's what you need to do. You need to troll those people and be like, you
obviously didn't look in the archives in the museum.
Oh, obviously, jerk. Check the filing cabinet. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, Josh. I had to put out that fire. Go ahead.
No, it's good. But yeah, it's very much that in a lot of ways it calls back to Fable or Elder Scrolls, and you're questing. You're just going on quests, and it's not as open world, obviously, as those. It's a little more. It's like a wheel spokes. You can go this path, this path, this path, and they all circle back around to the center. and it's grindy, it's repetitive. It feels very Japanese in that way. It's like playing a JRPG where you're grinding out levels. You're just trying to build your character up to get to the next spot. And it has all the same reward and drawback that does. Like after a while, you're going to get tired of going to the same dungeon, but you're also going to feel really, really great when you finally beat that boss.
Well,
and
I also didn't find many occasions where I was grinding per se. I was always going back into the dungeon with a purpose, like
with a quest, yeah,
with a quest or something to do. Like maybe one or two times I was like, all right, let me do a run in this level just to peek out or whatever. Because once you hit level 35 on the normal difficulty, you can't progress any further. It waits till you beat the game. So I don't know. I was in the mood for one of those games. It's the opposite of the two games that we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I played online a little bit, actually, Josh. I don't know if you did.
I did too. I was social. I met people.
Oh, look at you. You're going out there.
Opening up. I fucking hated it. I hate playing online, and I hated everyone I played with.
But it wasn't. What's the difference between playing with the people online and when you go through these dungeons, you can bring back bones of people, and you bring them to the Canaan temple or whatever, and you can resurrect them to be your NPC allies. So how do the NPCs behave any differently than the people online?
It was just arbitrary stuff. Like, so for instance, there's a mouse at one point, and like when people draw on the screen, you're playing online with people, you can see how they're drawing. Right. And I was playing with two people who like sit their like little finger on top of the mouse's like crotch and like wiggle it back and forth, and I was just like, oh.
Well, did you catch that Easter egg? It's Ricky Mouse, and he's the apprentice. He's the sorcerer's apprentice.
There's just a good Easter egg, and there's actually a lot of stuff that's very, very. This game kind of plays like
it's tongue in cheek, certain things.
Well, tongue in cheek, but it also plays like a bunch of like kind of 13-year-olds who are like way into like fantasy stuff.
Right.
Because there's references, like there's a Monty Python reference in it, and with the White Rabbit, and there's a lot of that stuff where it's like, when you're playing it, you can definitely tell that game does not take itself too seriously. Or even the narrator who talks in his very serious voice, and there is no like he does all the voices and stuff like that. He acts as your quote unquote DM, basically telling you what you do next and telling you where you go next, and a lot of stuff like that is very endearing. It creates a nice flavor for the game.
And once you beat the game, once you open up the world, you have to collect 9. It's so funny. It's such a game trope. Like, the world is something you have to collect 9 talismans. It just so happens there's 9 dungeons that you have to go through to beat the second bosses of. And then when you beat the game in normal mode, he's like, but wait, there's 9 more talismans you have to achieve. And you're like, shit, gotta do it again. But I had a great time with it so far. I think I'm going to continue to play it. I think I'm around level 37 right now. Did you play the mini game in between where you have to cook?
Yeah, I've done the cooking stuff. Actually, like the first time I saw it, I had no idea what I was doing. Where I was like, what is this? And then like I like started just kind of experimenting around, and I actually think that's really fun. That's very creative too.
Right, it's cool. So if you at the end of a dungeon, you can choose to go forward to another random dungeon, and you have a moment of respite with you and your party where you have a bunch of ingredients, like a whole bunch of pots and pans in front of you, and you can like click and drag the ingredients into the pots and pans, add ingredients, cook, stir, and then that's what gives you like your percentage buffs and your score percentage bonus multipliers and stuff. It's cool. It was a neat little thing. The art in the game is beautiful. That's my favorite part.
It's amazing.
A lot of folks have had a problem with the exaggerated art style of certain anatomy of both women and men. It is a little over the top, but you know what? Even Kate, while we were playing, was like, why do they have to do that? And my answer is, it's obvious. There's certain times.
Here's kind of because I wanted to just generally graze over it very quickly.
Sure.
But so she brought it up as kind of like what is this? Like
why are her boobs so big? They didn't have to do that.
Who cares?
Well, before you get into it, Josh, let me just finish my point. It's just, there are so many artists. It goes all the way back to the Renaissance and sculpture and everything. If someone chooses to portray their work of art in such a manner, they have artistic license to do so. I don't.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So I don't see, people can be like, well, I don't appreciate that, but who cares about you?
Don't
really?
Play the game.
Right.
Exactly.
If you have such a huge, they have been drawing. It's all out there, is what I'm saying. So if you have such a huge problem that there's blatant sexual innuendo in this game. That's how the artist chooses to portray his characters. But go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say, Josh.
There was eye rolling stuff where I was just like, nah, well. But and playing it on my Vita is also really nice because it's just it's very much my playthrough. Like I don't have, if I play it on my TV, I have roommates who will come and we'll stop and talk and stuff like that. And that can obviously change. And basically what I was going to say is with Kate watching you play it or playing it with you, I was wondering if she stopped into the what is this? Because I feel that is almost a caveat to playing the game is this is a great game, but just be ready for this, precursor that I need to warn you about. And I don't think it takes away from anything. It's super stylized. It winks at itself. It nods at itself. I'm not particularly offended by anything in it. But I did feel like it was something where if I was to recommend this game to someone, I'd be like, yes, but be ready because it's super over the top and you're going to your girlfriend might yell at you or something like that.
Right. But if she yells at you in an angry way, she shouldn't be your girlfriend. If they laugh about it because it's funny. It's actually funny at certain parts.
Or if they roll their eyes and walk away.
Yeah, that's fine too. But don't write a letter.
Everyone has their own opinions that they can completely adhere to.
Yeah, whatever. I just think, I don't know, doing art and being part of an art community as much as I can, it's hard to tell an artist where the line should be drawn, where we have Japanese tentacle rape porn and now it's this fantasy game is a problem.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying, man? I just want to see those boobs.
It's a great game. It is a very good game.
Yeah, it is really good. The controls are really great too. A lot of the combos, there's enough for comboing and things like that to keep it different. I went from a sorceress and I tried to play the elf, and it felt like a different game. It felt really good.
I can almost tell that too, just based on the attacks that they do, because a lot of the magical attacks are, these
AOE.
super giant tornadoes. Yeah. And whereas I'm playing as the elf, I'm very specific about the attacks. I'll generally try and change my level of attack and change my strategy and try and keep high and aim down at people, try and stay out of the actual fray of the battle.
Yeah, I noticed that the elf is way more precise, and going from the sorceress to the elf, I was it was so odd to control because I was constantly boosting and doing AoE attacks because you have to charge up your mana. You don't need mana potions, you charge it up. And for the elf, you have to collect arrows. So there's a different dynamic for every character. So the replayability is in the different character.
And I think that also on top of that, to call it a beat up, I know that you kind of shuddered when you had to describe it as a beat 'em up, but it's also I think the reason why it's difficult to call it that is because it controls and handles so well that it doesn't feel like a beat 'em up. It's because of the very tight controls and the very specific way that they've set up the combat in that game. It doesn't feel like you just run in and hit a button over and over and over again. You actually have to kind of think about how you're fighting enemies,
right,
what your strategy is, and still react really quick because it just throws things at you.
Right. Gregg, are you realizing theories and stuff
dude.
Gregg's head is he's in the clouds right now. He's realizing things. We're talking about beat 'em ups and boobs, and Gregg's his mind is on KRZ.
I just had this theory that Josh would that Conway isn't dead.
He's just experiencing dead people around him.
I came up with two of them. One of them is that because it wouldn't make sense for him to have died in the wreck because of the whole thing I'm finding out about the leg. Because what's the significant? If he's dead, it doesn't matter if he had his leg amputated or if he hurt his leg in the wreck. I think he killed 3 people in that wreck, and then either died in the mine when it filled up with water or something else. The other theory is that maybe he's in a coma right now, and when the rocks fall on his leg in the mine is when the doctors are actually amputating his leg in real life.
So he's getting phantom kind of.
I don't know. Maybe he's going through this journey, and it's actually all while he's trying to find his way out of this coma.
I think a coma is too.
Yeah.
Or you could be thinking coma. If he killed 3 people and he's having to live through those 3 different people's experiences, Oh,
that's interesting.
What a great game. Good games, guys.
Ken Levine said this the other day on an interview about the Burial at Sea DLC. He's like, I'm happy when people get mad at my game. I'm happy when people hate my game. I'm happy when people like my game, of course, but I'm happy when people talk about my game and they debate my game and they get into arguments about my game. That's what Kentucky Route Zero is right now. The fact that Gregg is totally mad scientisting out about this. Like right now he's making faces. I don't even know what he's doing.
I just realized that Shannon is waiting for Conway in the mine, and that's where Weaver told her to wait. Maybe Shannon also died in the mine.
Greg sounds like my grandma talking about General Hospital.
I don't know, and I don't mean to blow your head up even more, Greg, but I think there's a way that Shannon can end up with a different name.
Really?
Yeah, that, like she can be named something different, because I was listening to someone else talk about it, and they kept referring to the character as it was a name that wasn't Shannon. Because I like literally as I was listening to him talk about it, I was like, maybe they just don't remember her name.
Was it Remedios?
No, it was something like I can't remember. But they kept being
that's who R. Marquez is, and I find out because you meet a character named Carrington who talks about Remedios Marquez, who I don't know who that is yet. But the only other characters that I could, it was Lisette, Lula, and then there's obviously the last names on the tombstones at the house. Padilla and Nowakowski.
My legs are so itchy. I have mosquito bites all over my legs. I tried the calamine lotion thing.
Doesn't work.
No, what do I have to do? Benadryl?
I don't know.
I have applicated.
Josh, what about your dinner?
Yeah, I mean it's getting going. It's almost here. I'm excited to eat.
Nobody wants to hear about my mosquito. I have a problem with mosquito bites here.
No one wants to hear about your itchy mosquito-ridden legs.
If you take sugar water,
I think I'm gonna pass out here.
If you put sugar water on your legs before you go out,
sugar water.
Yeah.
Don't you bathe in oatmeal? Isn't that what you do?
Maybe that's what you do.
I want to just feed you like the most ridiculous homebrew concoction to try and save your leg.
Josh, will you make me oatmeal?
I can make it. Like, do you want me to send it in a package to you?
No.
You're not going to want to eat it once you get it.
Yeah, it won't be. Well, if you send me oat flakes, and I'll cook it.
No, I'm not going to half-ass it, dude. If I'm going to make you oatmeal, I'm going to make you oatmeal.
It's your own personal recipe?
Exactly. And so I'll send it over to you and, maybe scoop out the mold and then just start eating.
One other thing I want to bring up before we get back into games. Today, my dad came over and we were doing some stuff around the house. We put new blinds in. We got some night tables and stuff, and I realized the sound or feeling I hate most, like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
When you're screwing in a light bulb and the metal on the metal is like,
oh yeah.
I
don't mind that as much as
really. What's your hate sound? Brain matter. When we were kids, I used to say brain matter, and Greg just twitches. That's what it was.
Weird thing to think about.
Yeah.
Brain matter.
But mine. I have said what mine is people chewing. I can't stand the sound of people.
Oh, that's great that you hang out with Greg then. Here he goes.
Yeah.
That's it. There you go.
Also, working on a phone all day, you'd be amazed at how many people eat into their phones when they're talking. Yeah. And I just and it literally takes every inch of my willpower not to be like, you know what? Call me back after you're done. Click.
Ugh. Yeah, but it was awful. Anyway, that was my thing.
Yeah.
So also this week, another great game that I played. I probably only played about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Pikmin 3. I said I was going to talk about this for a little bit. Great game. I don't know if it's enough to buy a Wii U, but it is.
Is that the hopes for this game? Was that what the plan was for Nintendo?
Well, apparently it moved units in Japan and stuff.
How many units did it move?
Oh, I don't know specifically.
Okay.
But it's not doing well still.
Yeah, I didn't mean to make that sound quite so skeptical, but
it did. It's
how many units? Yeah, how many? You work for Microsoft.
How many? You tell me how many it moved.
Tell me. You work for Microsoft.
Show me the units moved.
So Pikmin 3 is actually pretty great. It's my first Pikmin experience. And they use the gamepad really well, I think. It's still really glorified map, but you can swap between the gamepad and the TV screen if you want, so you can play mainly on either or as your primary screen. But Pikmin's another hard game to describe because there's really not much like it, but I haven't seen it in HD ever, and it looks pretty great. Their environments are good. The gameplay is fun. It's like addicting kind of, and there's sort of this risk reward thing. So every day you have to get sustenance. So you go down from your ship and you have all your Pikmin. I'm gonna skip out the rest of the story. There's points where Olimar is mentioned. Olimar is from the other games, but you crash land on this planet. I forgot what they call it. PNF 404.
Oh yeah.
which people are saying it's Planet Not Found 404.
Oh, cool.
Get it? So
Or Tatooine.
yeah, or Tatooine, Two Suns.
Two Suns, yeah.
So, man, for a first Pikmin experience, it's hard for me to wrap my head around the whole thing, but it's a puzzler. It's a puzzle game, and every day you have to get sustenance to bring back, or else you lose the game. So you find like lemons, and you find fruits, and you use all your Pikmin to build things for you. If anything, the only thing I have to say about it is that, being that I've never played Pikmin, I've heard from people that have played that it's played much better with the nunchuck and the Wii pad.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right? A Wii pad?
Wii pad.
The Wii pad and the nunchuck. Are we still talking about video games? Well, Wii pad, nunchuck?
Yeah.
I'm using only the Wii U gamepad, which I had the direction that you choose to go into, like the direction you're walking, is the same direction you're aiming your Pikmin as you're shooting them to complete tasks.
So, I hate that.
Yeah,
I hate when controls are like that.
It's tough. It's a little tough at first, and I still get a little confused, but the game has a lot of charm, and I think a lot of the reviews out there are correct in what they're giving it, like an 8, 9. For Nintendo that doesn't have many killer apps right now, Pikmin is definitely a go-to.
It actually moved an insane amount of consoles in Japan.
Yeah.
Like,
really?
I have the numbers here if you're interested.
Sure, let's see.
I am.
This is 4 weeks before Pikmin was released in Japan. Week 1, about 6,000 units. Week 2, 5,000. Week 3, 7,000. Week 4, 8,000. This is 4 weeks after Pikmin 2. Week 1, 23,000 units. Week 2, 15,000 units. Week 3, 12,000 units. Week 4, 10,000 units.
So
damn, that is good.
Yeah.
That's really well for them that they're hurting, at least in the Western market. I'm glad to hear that. I heard that they kicked it up over there. Maybe because they're doing all the Nintendo Directs and telling people about games like the Wonderful 101, which demo came out this past weekend, and I played that as well. Man, that game is Japanese. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
I saw it at I saw the demo was previewed on an E3 show, and it looked very interesting. It also looked like a game that I would have fun playing for maybe a couple hours. Then I'd be like, all right, I get this. I get the gimmick. Let's move on.
See, I don't know how to take it because the demo, it's a shit demo because I don't think Nintendo's really well versed in releasing demos like
or the internet.
Yeah, or the internet, or just being in touch with their audience at all. But the demo starts without any exposition. It's just like, here you go. And on the screen, I almost felt offended at the size of the things on the screen. I felt like I was playing a Play School product. There was like huge press A button, and everything is shiny, and there's like directional buttons and just these big shiny things everywhere. And you can just see that there's obviously an Eastern influence in the game. It's not, so, and on the gamepad, it has all their instructions, and you're constantly using the gamepad because to use your attacks, you have to, you're all a bunch of superheroes. That's what it is. The 101 is all your superheroes. So you start with a certain amount. And to perform attacks that do anything, you have your basic attack by jamming X, which is pretty, I don't know, it's not very, not an intelligent system of combat. But the technical stuff gets in where, like, if you draw a circle on your gamepad and press A, everybody forms up to join to make this hand, like a giant hand that slaps things and turns knobs. Or if you make a gun, like, how you would draw a stick figure gun, like an L, a sideways L. If you make that, they all form up into a gun and you can shoot the gun. If you do a straight line, I mean, anyone that saw the Nintendo Direct knows this, but you turn into a sword, and depending on how big you make that object on the Wii pad, it becomes that big in the world. I think my favorite part so far was I accidentally stumbled upon the item menu. So as all your dudes are doing their thing and fighting, and you're still fighting with them, you can call in an item like airstrikes and stuff, and you aim at your TV, the airstrike, or you don't have to do it with the TV. I probably was, but like duck hunting it. You can aim your airstrike with your Wii pad. So you're, I don't know. It adds a whole nother dynamic to it. That's probably the most I've gotten out of the Wii gamepad since I played Zombie U. So it was really cool how they took it, and that game comes out September 15th. So I don't know. We'll see more when it comes out, but the demo was not very user-friendly because it tried to be so user-friendly, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say give it a try, but no, you guys don't have Wii U's.
Yeah, no, I have money going other directions. So.
Yeah.
Suck it, Nintendo. Try and get it later.
You get a little suck it.
Yeah. All right.
What else?
Do you have something else? Any other games?
I feel like I played some. Oh, Papers, Please.
Oh,
I played Papers, Please. Oh my God, play Papers, Please. See, every game we talked about today, it's been fairly positive, except the 101 demo. But Josh,
I played a little bit of Papers, Please.
What are you thinking so far?
It's good. I mean, it is interesting. It's those empathy games, like it's kind of like Cart Life. It's kind of like
right.
Yeah.
To me, I watched the demo and it looks interesting, but to think of
it's like working.
In my mind, it's like I'm working. I'm checking papers, and John's like, it gets crazy as you go. You have to check like 5-6 things at a time. Just like wait and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to be checking all that stuff.
But things go on like KRZ where there's like a story on the side and things like
And it is to a degree. I mean, it is very much, it feels like work. I played his other game, Republic of Times, which is also really, really good. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's playing Papers, Please. It's very much like, it's supposed to just be simple. It's supposed to feel a little bit like a grind because it's really trying to get you in that mindset so those stories become more effective.
Yeah.
There's moments in that game. Yeah. Well, the art style is set in like a 16-bit. I feel like I'm playing Sega CD.
Yeah, it's like Cold War Russia.
Well, right? what it is Aristraka. I don't know. It's everyone's playing this game right now. So if you're not playing it, you should be. But so you get a job in the beginning, like the opening cutscene or whatever, is you pretty much getting a job from the government to work at a checkpoint for people to enter your country of Aristratska, right? Aristratska? Something like that?
I don't remember.
I think it's similar. So the first day, people are coming up. It's like only let people from Aristratska in, no foreigners. So as they go through the first time, you're checking the passport. If they're not from our country, deny. Go. Next day gets a little tougher. They let people in from other countries, but you need a ticket. So you have to check the ticket, check everything, check the sex on the thing, check their picture. I know it sounds like you have a job at like an airport security terminal to do.
That is what you do.
Custom.
That
right.
is what you do, though.
But things start to happen where on the second day, this guy shows up and he doesn't have a passport or anything at all, and he starts talking to you, and you're like, dude, you need a passport or whatever.
And he's like, I don't need a passport. I'm good. I can go through.
Great country, Aristratska. No passport needed. I come in now. Thank you. And you're like, no, dude, you need a passport. So the next day he comes back and he has a hand-drawn passport that he made. And he's like, oh, I come back with a better one. Yeah. So, and there's like terrorist attacks and security gets heightened. So it's not just, I know it comes off like it sounds like you're just.
Where are you going? Where are you ending up in this game?
I don't know. I haven't played that far into it. Mike was telling me that, he's at a point where if their weight's 4 kilograms off, you have to do a body scan because they could have a bomb on them and you could let them in and they could destroy the country. Well, the story of this aside, the UI is really cool. I have to say that the UI feels really good in the game when you're dragging things from your workstation over to view them, because as people are coming in, they're dropping you their passports. You have to drag it over, open it up in the window. It feels very fluid. You have to look up the country, make sure they're from the right country, blah, 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 blah. This probably sounds real shitty for people who haven't seen the game.
The next game coming out is Deli Owner, where you play as the owner of a deli and you are handing out...
sandwich.
You make sandwiches. You collect... No, you're just a cashier. You take their money.
Don't they have games like that?
I don't know. I'm being sarcastic.
I mean, that's what Cart Life is, basically.
Yeah, Cart Life is getting a job and supporting a family.
That's what this is, though, too. You have to make sure you have money for your family.
We've come full circle.
After you blow up your ice cream deli, Greg, that can be DLC that's added on.
Yeah, if you want the ice cream parts.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm sorry. We really shouldn't talk about that idea anymore because now we're literally putting it in too many podcasts where people can pick it up.
Someone's gonna make that, and I'm gonna hang myself.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You should
we don't have a podcast anymore.
You should get a job in Aristratska checking papers for us. Yeah, the audio is really cool in that game too.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting the signal that I am being summoned for dinner.
All right, Josh.
Oh, Josh. Is it? What do you have for dinner? What do you have for dinner?
I don't know. I can't see it. I can only smell it. And
you didn't help cook it? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Wait. You're having dinner at your place?
Yeah.
Oh, get this guy in the podcast. Get him over here. Swap out for the end of the podcast. Let's get the marching guy.
Tyler. Come here.
Get him on here. Thank you, Josh, for joining us today. Now joining us from Afghanistan, the Marine marching coordinator and conductor,
Tyler.
Tyler.
That's me.
What's up, Ty?
What's up, guys?
Do people call you Ty?
My sister does.
Oh, okay, so I won't then. So we have to just pleasure to meet you. I'm John. This is Gregg.
Hello.
Excellent. I've been listening to you guys for 17 weeks.
Oh,
Have you?
Wonderful.
Oh, so he knows. Oh, dude, don't listen to this one. We talk shit about you in this one.
No, we don't.
Good. Can't wait.
Not really. Actually, the way Josh talked about it when we were first referring to why he had to rush, because welcome back, by the way, from
Thank you.
From your tour.
Where was your tour?
Everywhere. I traveled the entire eastern half of the country.
Wow. What was the what's the name of your marching band?
The name of the group is the Madison Scouts,
Medicine Scouts.
based out of Madison, Wisconsin.
See, we thought you guys were like military.
Josh made you sound like you were a war hero.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we thought you like came back from your tour like in Afghanistan or something.
But honestly, the picture I have painted of you, you have your leg up holding an American flag. You're on a rock. You just conquered a country. So that's how I'm going to keep it.
Now the picture I have of you is you're like at a high school and there's like a lot of little kids around you and you're like playing the and like there's kids like crawling on your back and they're like, oh,
you're like, get off, play the music, and you're like, Josh is playing his tuba.
Yeah. All right.
Did you have fun?
Kids.
Did you have fun on your tour?
Yeah,
Was it good? How long were you
great.
gone?
June 6th till today.
Wow, that's a pretty long time.
Pretty long time to be
2 months.
To be drawing out the marching coordinates for
Do you
people.
get any gaming in?
Are you a gamer? Are you a gamer?
I had Bastion on my iPad.
Oh,
that was
that's
it.
fun.
Bastion on the iPad. How was that?
It's fun. It's good.
Did you finish it? Play through?
Not quite yet. Didn't finish it.
Oh, good thing we didn't spoil anything for you. I love that game though. It's great. You'll play it again. You'll play it twice.
I'm sure. I'm enjoying it.
All right.
So
Tyler, thanks for joining us.
No, leave him on. Let's close the show.
Oh, we'll close the show with Tyler. Okay.
All right.
Well, it's funny how Tyler's not in a rush to go eat dinner,
Yeah,
but Josh just
wants to get off the podcast as quick as possible.
The
Josh
dinner
wants-
that I made for him.
What did you make?
It's Chinese.
Wait a second.
Some
Wait,
orange chicken.
you made Chinese food?
Oh, kind of. Came in a bag.
Oh, came in a
Jesus
bag.
Christ.
Came in a bag.
You guys are just lying like crazy over there. You're not even eating dinner, are you?
No. I have nothing left to say to Josh.
Just,
So,
plug the contest one more time.
well, I'm going to announce one winner.
That's right. We get to announce a winner.
We're going to announce one winner tonight for. We're just going to give away 400 points tonight. I think that's
adequate.
a reasonul amount.
Yeah, let's give away
Right?
400 points tonight.
So remember,
drum
check
roll,
out
drum roll, please, Tyler.
the first winner is Sam Chong. Yay! Sam Chong, you won 400 points,
Congratulations,
courtesy
Sam.
of the AwayCast. Thanks.
This is a pretty
Sam.
big deal. We brought Tyler.
How do you forget him?
Tyler in from the Madison Scouts just to do that drum roll.
We
for
had
this.
him cancel the second half of his tour to come on so Sam Chong could get his 400 Microsoft
Congratulations,
points.
Sam Chong.
Yay! So Sam Chong, I'll be shooting you a private message and you'll be getting some points. If you're even allowed to get points. I don't even know who you are, man.
Yeah, we don't
I'm
know.
just giving you free stuff, and that's what we're going to be doing for the rest of the month. AwayCast.com. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube
That's
to
right.
become part of our
Contest. The
Arcade.
Summer of Arcade.
AID to help you get Microsoft points and
Right.
play
Next
some
week
good
we're
games.
giving away 800 points next week.
Yeah, 800 points next week, and maybe something else. Tyler,
Yeah.
you need to catch up on your gaming.
Yeah. I'm going to start The Last of Us tonight.
Ooh,
There you go.
PlayStation.
That's
it's
a really good game.
It's gonna give you some free
Have fun
points.
with that.
Are you Tyler Woods?
Yeah.
Oh.
I have you on my list of potential winners. I almost said
Wow.
Tyler
Good
Woods.
thing we
Wow.
didn't. That would have really, we would have looked rigged. We would have
it
looked,
would look so. Tyler, we have you right here.
Oh, you happen
Congratulations.
to be on the podcast tonight.
Hooray.
Maybe next week we'll rig it and Tyler can win.
I don't think we should.
All right, everybody, check us out at AwayCast.com. Follow on everything I just said to win some free stuff until the end of August. Gregg, thank you so much for joining.
My pleasure.
Tyler, welcome back, bud. Thanks for hanging out for a few minutes and
Thanks for having me.
give Josh a smack.
Will do. Always.
All right.
And John, thanks for coming on today.
Hey, no problem. I'm here.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll
Bye-bye.
see you next week.